Hey y'all, we are back with another video, and today we're going to be getting back into day trading basics. So I wanted to kind of start a series on YouTube where I broke down things about day trading and chart reading so that way you can understand it in a way that is palatable. I'm just not a believer in long videos. And I don't think trading needs to be that hard. Now, that is not to say that trading is not hard. Trading is hard, okay? It will take you through the ringer. But if you're committed to this thing, then this is a great place to start. So today we're gonna start with candlestick basics. I'm so excited to start this beginner series. I love teaching. Anyways, I'm not a big fan of yapping. I am, but not in these kinds of videos. So let's just get right on to the charts. All right, so we are covering trading for newbies. So if you are a beginner, this is definitely the video for you. You're probably sitting and wondering, like, okay, like what is a candlestick? Well, when you guys see a stock chart, right, you guys are probably thinking to yourself, it's something like this right here, right? Where they're moving up and down and, they just do all kinds of crazy things. But you would be surprised to know that every single one of these lines tells a story. So when you are talking about reading a stock chart, so when people ask, why do I take trades? How do I enter? How do I take a trade? Well, first and foremost, you need to understand what's going on with the candlesticks, okay? So that is what we're going to be talking about in today's presentation. First and foremost, why do candlesticks even matter, right? Candlesticks are way more than just decoration on a chart. Every single candlestick that you guys see either paints a story of who's in control, buyers or sellers. Those are our two characters for today, the buyers and the sellers, okay? They also leave clues to help you decide, when am I actually going to take a trade? So when we're thinking about the stock market going up, we're thinking about buyers because buyers push the stock market up, right? We're thinking about the stock market going down. We're thinking about sellers because sellers push the stock market down, right? I like to call candlesticks a visual representation of a conversation between buyers and sellers. Let's not think about it as something that is just so hard and so unattainable, but rather let's think about it as seeing a conversation play out in real time. First thing about candlestick structure, right? We have bullish candles. The word association that I like to use is bullish, up, green, right? So when we see a green candlestick, right, I'm thinking that the candlesticks are going to push up. I'm thinking bullish. So if we are traders, right, the two vocab words you're going to want to know are bullish and bearish. Bullish means that we think a stock is going to go up, whereas bearish means that we think that a stock is going to go down. So if you can explain bullish and bearish, you are already on your step to being a great trader. Now, bulls push the stock up, right? And they represent buyers. So you think about it this way, right? Like if it closes higher, buyers are on fire. Get it? Okay, well, tough crowd. All right, so this right here is a candlestick. It looks, I guess if you think about a candle, right? A candle would look like this. It has a little wick on the candle up top. But when we're thinking about stock candles, they have wicks on the top and the bottom. The difference between a bullish and a bearish candlestick, if you're taking notes, write this down. A bullish candlestick opens at the bottom and closes at the top. So when we take time and we go look at our charts, I'm going to show you guys that as candlesticks are forming in real time, we are seeing that they're either growing or they're getting smaller. So when a green candlestick opens, it opens down here, closes up here, and it pushes towards the upside, okay? Now, this is the anatomy of the candlestick. The bottom of the candlestick is the open. The top of the candlestick is going to be the close. But this whole thick part right here is called the body of a candlestick, okay? The way that a body of the candlestick looks will tell us a lot about the strength and what we could probably be doing on the next candle. Now, these little lines right here are called wicks. So if you guys were to go to Bath and Body Works, right, and see an actual candle, the candle itself would have wicks on the top and the bottom of it. It's the same thing with a candlestick for trading. You're going to see wicks at the top and the bottom. Now, because a candlestick opens here and closes here, the wicks are showing us the highest and the lowest point a candlestick was open during that time frame. Again, when we get on the chart and see an example, I'll show you guys different time frames and what I actually mean by this. But as of right now, we know that the body is the thicker part. The little lines are the wicks, okay? It is a representation of where price once was. So let's say a candlestick was open for 5 minutes, right? Between those 5 minutes, the candlestick may have gone as high as here, or it may have gone as low as here. So that's what we're going to be seeing represented on the wicks of our candlestick. Again, bullish, we are thinking upwards. If I were to sit here, I love drawing this little diagram. If I were to sit here and draw a bull for you guys, right? Hold on, let me show y'all my bull. If I were to sit here and draw a bull for you guys, right? Have you guys ever seen, like, what's that one movie, Ferdinand, where they had a little dude and he was like the little, what are they called, matadors, and they had a little red thing and they like, anyways, if a matador were to go up towards a bull, right, and it just was not his day, he's going where? Upwards. Get it? Because the bull would fling him up. Right. Thank you. All right. Moving on. Bearish candlesticks, okay? They are just going to be the opposite of our bullish candles. So when we think about it, right, bearish candles mean that price is going down. So we think bearish, we think down, we think red, we think sellers are in control. That's what we're thinking about when we think about bearish candles, right? So with bearish candlesticks, they open at the top and they close at the bottom. Think of it this way. If something opens here and closes here, that means that it had to have been growing downwards while it was open. So that's why, again, bullish candlesticks open at the bottom and close at the top, and bearish ones open at the top and they close at the bottom, right? They are going to be representing our sellers, right? So if it closes lower, sellers take over. That's how I think about it. If you're bearing down, right, sellers are in control. Do we have any Bears fans? I'm a Bear fan. We say bear down, okay? So hard being a Bears fan. If I were to draw a diagram of a bear, right? What do bears do over the winter, right? Here's this little cave, right? Bears, they go down for the winter. So see, bam, close his eyes. Exactly. Again, thank you guys. I will be here all week. So now we have an understanding. Bearish candlesticks, right? They're going to be pushing downwards, and bullish candlesticks are going to be pushing upwards. But what actually tells us a story, right? Like if I were to go up and look at this candlestick, right, or these candlesticks here, right? Why does this one push up so much? Why does this one go down? What is actually being shown on the candles? And again, if I were to show you guys a quick side by side, we're seeing the difference right here. Pause if you guys have to. Bearish candles, again, open at the top, close at the bottom, and our bullish candles open at the bottom and they close at the top. Learning how to read candlestick strength is so important, okay? Let's just disregard the green candles for a second and let's just look at the red candles, okay? Right here, it says if we have a large top wick, that means that we have strong sellers. Why? If we know that a bearish candlestick, right, opens at the top and closes at the bottom, if we have a longer top wick, that's letting me know that at some point in time, this candlestick was all the way up here, but the sellers stepped in and closed it down here. Does that make sense? So even right here, right? It says big lower wick equals strong buyers. So if I know, again, bearish candlesticks open at the top, they close at the bottom. The fact that we have a wick down here, that's telling me that, hey, at one point, because again, wicks are a shadow, at one point, the candlestick was all the way down here, but the buyers are pushing it up to close here. Okay. If we look at the opposite way on a green candle, right? We know green candlesticks open at the bottom and they close at the top instead. So if I have a wick up here, that's letting me know like, hey, at some point in time, we were this high, but the sellers are pushing this candlestick down. Similarly, with this green candlestick over here, again, green candlesticks, regardless of where the wick is, open at the bottom, close at the top. At some point in time, because of the wick being down here, we know that this candlestick was probably red. It was all the way down there, but those buyers, they stepped in, they said, absolutely not. We're going to be closing higher. Does that make sense to y'all? If we have a large body on a candle, that just means that we have big momentum. We're pushing upwards. We have buyers and sellers in agreement, depending on whichever candlestick color it is. And that's what we're seeing there, right? Now, if we have a tiny body on the candle but long wicks, that means that we're kind of seeing like tug of war, indecision, weak candlesticks. They're not really, buyers are more prominent or sellers are more prominent. We're just closing in the middle. We don't have any strength on these candles, okay? So if you guys are taking notes, I would screenshot this, doodle this in your notes so that way you guys understand the difference between the candles and their strengths. So we're actually going to watch a candlestick form in real time on TradeZilla. TradeZilla is an application where you can track your trades, you can do replays, you can journal them, you can see a whole calendar. But because I'm filming this on a Sunday and the stock market is not open, this is the best thing that we're going to get to watching a candlestick form in real time. So I'm going to wait until this candle starts over again. This is the 1 minute time frame, meaning every single one of these candles you see show 1 minute of movement. So once this restarts, we're going to watch it move for 60 seconds. All right, so this candlestick has now opened, right? If I pause right here, we're going to note two things, right? On this candlestick, the open is right here, the bottom of this candle. Now, because that candle had jumped down a little bit, we have a tiny bit of a wick here, and we also have a wick forming right here. So keep in mind, just watching that little white line of where we opened at through this candle. So as this candlestick pushes down, right, it brings the body down. The open is still here, but now it's just looking like it's closing here. And it's leaving behind this wick that we have here. So as it pushes up and it changes to green, we see the buyers were trying to step in, right? And that leaves a big wick towards the downside. Now, as it's pushing down, the sellers, they're pushing it down again. Body's going towards the downside, and we'll see kind of how the candlestick begins to close. But as we see this happen in real time, we're noticing like, man, buyers and sellers really are fighting each other the entirety of the time. This candlestick closes in about 10 seconds, and this is what I would consider a pretty strong bearish candle. Why? Because it's a very long body. It looks like we're about to close towards the bottom, hopefully, maybe. No. I close a little bit up, and that's okay. But I would still consider this a strong bearish candle just off the body. Even though that we do have a wick, it's not the end of the world. Now, I personally trade on the 1 minute time frame, and when we continue on with our beginner series on here, I'll talk to you guys about time frames, how to figure out what works best for you. But I personally like to watch the last 30 seconds of a candlestick being open. To me personally, that gives like the best inference as to what could happen within the next candlestick. But if we look on this one right here, we'll note we opened right here, right? And as the candlestick fights, it goes up and down, it leaves behind this wick. And we see the buyers, they're trying, right? They're fighting, but the sellers are pushing back. And that's what's causing that tug of war between the candles, right? At this point in time, it looks like the sellers are really trying to step in. They're trying to push this candlestick downwards, okay? But before the candlestick closes, we see the buyers, they're doing their best, right? Now, looking towards this next candlestick, this one opens right here, right? Now it's pushing upwards. We're seeing this all happen in real time as you watch trades. Now, this chart right here is a little bit choppy for me, but usually when we have good, strong trend, we'll notice that on our candlesticks, it's directly reflected. So let's look at this trend right here, okay? If I were to look at this with you guys, candlestick by candlestick, and maybe you guys can look at some candlesticks along the side and kind of see what you see. But if I were to break this down candlestick by candlestick, okay, the first thing I'm noting is that at the top of this trend, right, the candlesticks seem to be pushing upwards. We're noticing that we have a pretty good majority of strong candles. Opens here, closes here. Let me actually use red and make it a little bit, actually, we'll keep it blue because that's easy to see. So opens here, closes here, opens here, closes here, opens here, closes here. We're not seeing too much on the wick side, which is a really good sign for us for pushing up towards the downside. Now, if you watch the video that I have on here, it's called The Easiest Way to Understand Charts. I taught a lesson on market structure. And just to recap that, stocks don't go up forever. They don't go down forever. They kind of go up and they breathe and they go up and down. That's what an uptrend looks like. So you see here, it goes up, it comes down, it goes up, and then we change and we're going down, okay? So just because we see opposite color candles within a trend does not mean that our trend is weak. It's actually very healthy for a stock to go up and down. So here we have some good uptrending candles. Then we have a strong red candle, right? One strong red candle does not mean that we're changing trend, but we want to see how that plays out. After this, we have this candlestick right here. What you'll notice about it is that even though it's a red candle, it's indecisive, right? It's closing kind of in that middle. So if I was in a trade saying that it was going to go up, which would be calls, if it was options, going long if it were futures or whatever you want to call it, I'd be like, okay, it looks like we're trying to push down, but we're still, I feel like the buyers are still trying to fight. Now, on a candlestick like this, right? It's a green candle, but we close pretty low. I'd be like, okay, maybe buyers are losing a little bit of strength, right? But then we pick up strength right here. We pick up strength here. We're a little indecisive on this candle, but it's okay because every candlestick won't look like this one. Please note that, okay? We're strong here. We have one strong bearish candlestick here, which again, not the end of the world because stocks have healthy pullbacks. We're strong here. Again, open here, closing here, opening here, closing here. We have a long wick right there. So I'm like, okay, cool, we're great. But then at the top of this trend, we have a wick going as high as here, but we're closing down here. So I'm like, okay, maybe we're changing trend, right? Then another strong bearish candle. Here we have another strong bearish candle too. Even though we have a little wick down here, the body is still a bit bigger. Now, I want us to look at these two candlesticks here. Now, just because these candlesticks right here are not big does not mean that they're not strong. Why? They are not, it's not because they're small, but we know that bearish candles open at the top and close at the bottom, right? So these wicks towards the top are letting me know that at one time they were green, but the sellers stepped in. So that's showing me relative downside strength. Then we have a strong candlestick here. We have a bullish candle here. Again, stocks go up and down all day. That's fine. We're pretty strong here. Again, long wick, but we're closing at the bottom. And then we have some strength, right? Now, what I really love to note about this little uptrend or this pullback right here is even though it's going up, we're not seeing strength towards the upside, okay? So here we have a completely indecisive candle. This is actually called a doji candle, a candlestick that looks like this. If it looks like this with the line being more towards the top, that is what we call a dragonfly candle. I'm probably totally misspelling this. Dragonfly candle. Or if it looks like this is what we call a gravestone doji candle. But at the end of the day, they are all just indecisive candles. They don't mean anything. They don't tell us to enter. They don't tell us to exit. They're just kind of there, right? So here we have candles with long wicks, buy-side candles with long wicks right here, right? So this is telling me that even though we're pulling up, we don't have enough strength to do something like this. So if I were in a put position or sells or I was going short, whatever it is, right? I would think to myself, like, okay, even though we're pulling up, we're not strong. We're probably going to end up coming back down. And that's exactly what we did. Is this making sense to you all? So with candlesticks, they're not just little lines, right? They are telling us stories about what the trend of a stock is doing. So even if we look down here, right? Off the open, we see the stock is coming down. Open here, close here, open here, close here. We have good strength until we don't. So here we see the first candle start to push up. Buyers are kind of stepping in. Okay. Here we have a candlestick with the body in the middle, kind of indecisive. Okay. Here we have two indecision candles before we end up pushing up towards the upside. Okay. So when you're looking at charts, don't just think to yourself like, oh, these are just red and green lines and red and green boxes. No, they are all telling a story, right? So once you pair these with volume, once you pair these with a strategy, it's going to help you be an all-around better trader. So if you are a newbie and you are a beginner and you're like, what is a chart? This is the best way to start. Out of everything that I have ever learned in my trading career, I honestly feel like learning to read candles is the biggest thing that has helped me be a great trader. More so than, learning about levels, more so than learning about supply and demand zones. Because at the end of the day, the reason why I'm so anti-Discord groups that send signals is because they'll be like, oh, enter above or enter below this level right here, right? However, let me actually give you guys a really good example why I don't like signals groups. All right, let's say somebody says, let's enter into puts. And if you don't know what that is, in options trading, a put means that you think the stock is going to go down because you can make money whether a stock goes down or upwards, right? This little level right here is at 2084. If someone says, hey, enter in for a put position below 2084, if you are just following signals and you don't know how to read price action, you don't know how to read candles, you will lose your house, car, dog, and kids, okay? Because right here, right, technically it touched 2084. If you would have entered for a put right here, you would have lost. Same thing right here. It technically touched it. If you would have entered, you would have lost. You would have lost here, here, here. If you would have entered right here trying to get in prematurely, you would have lost. If you would have entered in here, you would have lost, right? Trading, there is so much more that goes into entering a trade outside of a stock hitting a certain level. Okay. So if you aren't reading your candles, if you aren't seeing the strength, if it looks like there's no strength around that entry, there is no entry, period. I don't care if you spent $500 a month on a Discord and they said enter puts here. You should be able to read charts for yourself. With all that being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video on candlesticks. Now, I know this is not everything you would ever need to take a trade, but I do feel like if we can break things up into small concepts, it would make it a lot easier. So what do you guys want to learn about next? Do you guys feel like you want to learn about market structure again? Do you guys want to learn about levels? You guys want to learn supply and demand? What do you guys want to know? Because I want to do a YouTube series where I break down trading concepts piece by piece, so that way it doesn't feel so overwhelming, right? Also, just to do a little, shameless self-promo, I actually taught this lesson here in my Discord. We have a beginner series for both options and futures trading. The beginner series, the first one was 14 hours long. I retaught it in June. It was 5 hours long. We have a 7 hours futures series. And if you look right here, you'll see this video, I taught all about charts, trends, candles, and more. In the beginner series, you should be able to understand everything that you need to know to be able to take your first trade. We also have a tab where we cover trading platforms, so that way you can know what to actually use. We have a chartology tab, which is 22 hours, and it's kind of cool because we designed it like school years. So it's like freshman year through senior year of trading. And then under crystal classes, every single class that I've ever taught is in here. We also teach kids classes. If you want to learn my strategies, these are right here in the trading strategies tab. And that is all in my Discord, which if you guys use the code YouTube, YOUTUBE, you guys will get a discount code just for watching this video. Sorry, not to do a shameless self-promo, but I think I'm a great teacher. And also, as you guys can see, it's not just me. We have 3 other admins that teach in Crystal Academy. I live trade every single day. Like I said, I'm not big on signals. I will never sit and write down, enter here, exit here. But if you want to catch the live trading Zooms, you can take the trades with me in real time because I will explain to you why we're taking the trades. I'm super big on trading education. I'm actually going to make a YouTube video on how to find a good teacher. In case y'all don't like me, I'm going to let you guys know what to look out for. We live trade every single day, options and futures. We do pre-market analysis every single day, so that way you can know what trades to take. We do post-market recaps every single day, so you can understand why things went right or why they went wrong. We do psychology classes every single Monday because, to be honest, outside of taking trades, I feel like finding a strategy is about a good 20% of what trading is. The other 80% is making sure that your mind is together. 46 hours of trading psychology, right? We even have a library, so that way you guys can look into books and different things. It's super cute too, because we made our own handbooks. For example, we have the Ultimate Options Trading Handbook. So it goes over what is options, charting platforms, brokers. We also have the small account series. So if you guys want to start with like less than $300, you guys can learn how to grow it there. There's so much in here. In addition to the community, y'all, we do study pods 5 days a week in my Discord. So like, we have study group. Let me actually show y'all. We do study group now Monday through Friday. So in case you guys want to come in and study and look at charts, you guys can do that. We do Sunday sessions of studying as well. We also now have study groups. So like, I think it's really cool. Like we have study teams. So that way, you can learn to trade with other people. I just think that's super cool. Even right now, like they're currently in the stage watching my mini mentorship. Anyways, you guys can click the link in the description box and use the promo code YouTube. Again, that is just YOUTUBE for 10% off your first month. You can cancel after the first month. I'm not the police. I'm not going to come find y'all. The link will be in the description box. But congratulations, y'all. You can now read candles like a pro. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Make sure you guys comment down below what kind of concepts you guys would like to see me break down next. I would love to keep this series going so that way you guys can, understand trading. You can always click the link down below in the description box. As always, guys, I love you guys, but God loves you more. I hope to see you guys in the next video. And yeah, comment below what you guys want me to do a video on next. Bye, y'all. Have an amazing day.